Oh,
All I'm
good.
saying is that as I'm sitting at the table and I'm begging you guys for the affirmation, what I realized is that that's because I'm feeling like I failed.
Hi there, it's Greg and Erin Smalley, and we're here at Focus on the Family. We head up the marriage department. We're authors, speakers, counselors, and we have a podcast called Crazy Little Thing Called Marriage.
And we've been married 33 years.
We have been married for 33 years. Today, we're going to talk through how do we manage conflict in a healthy way, because I don't care how long you've been married, we all have conflict in marriage. We'd actually be more concerned if there was zero conflict, because there are going to be things that we see differently that are sensitive. But what is the process or the formula to experience conflict in a healthy way? Most of us have never learned that. It wasn't modeled. Maybe it was, but this is just a process that we use to manage conflict.
Yeah, you can then use this process, this model formula,
Mm-hmm.
really on then any issue, small issues to the big ones that are
Right.
so sensitive, it's even hard to talk about them. We end up avoiding them. So this is what has so worked for us. So number one, it always has to start here, is you've got to have some awareness that we're actually now engaging in something that we call the reactive cycle. Every conflict happens because our buttons, these deeper emotions, get triggered and then we react. All of us do the same thing. It doesn't matter the topic, small issue, large issue. When our buttons get triggered, now we start spinning around. And when Erin and I started to understand this, this was a game changer. Literally saw a graphic, a picture of my buttons and reactions, your buttons and reactions, and how they played off each other. And it finally gave us this like, oh my goodness, that is it. That is exactly what happens. And we call this the reactive cycle. We'll go ahead and put a link in the description for this free assessment. It's brand new. It's called the Reactive Cycle Assessment. Take that and it'll generate the same image that was a game changer right for us.
And the awareness of the cycle is so helpful, because it really is an image of what's really going on under the waterline with every single conflict. But there's also the individual awareness of, what do I feel when I get triggered? Because when you get triggered, there is always going to be a physical body response. And I love hearing how different people know when they're triggered. You know, I feel like my blood pressure went up, my heart is racing, I want to run away, I want to lean in and fight. My ears start burning, I feel like I got punched in the gut.
Yeah. I get super defensive. Like that's usually the tip for me.
Really?
I know. I know. You probably didn't realize that about me.
Yeah, that is not new information to me.
That's for me. So that's why I love what you're saying. If we understand that all conflict happens because of this thing called the reactive cycle, then step number one is, now I need to think about this from an individual standpoint, not from going, how do we figure this thing out? I need to recognize that I'm now shut down. My buttons have been triggered, and anything I do from this point on is not going to be helpful.
It's going to be a disaster.
It's just going to keep spinning around. So the first place is to say, as an individual, I need to get my heart back open.
But then step two is, once you're aware, okay, I'm triggered, I'm no longer safe relationally, it's not going to go well, I've got to step away and call a timeout. And as you do that individually, you then are checking in with you and checking in with what in the world is going on with me.
Yeah, what buttons have been triggered?
Yeah, what am I feeling? What sensitive buttons have been triggered? How did I react to that? But what is going on? And I can just care about that. But the awareness is huge. Even naming what got triggered, that sensitive emotion, just naming the emotion actually changes your brain activity, moves your brain activity from your amygdala, your limbic system, to your prefrontal cortex, which is the more rational part of your brain. The whole goal of this step is to take those notches down in escalation, so you can then be de-escalated, your heart's back open, and you can think clearly again.
So last night, so you were working late. Erin's a marriage therapist, so you had a full client load all day long.
That was a full one.
You kind of walked me very quickly, briefly through how to make some sort of chili, whatever. And
White
so
chicken chili, to be
so
exact.
so I did my very best to have that ready for when you were coming home, so we could all sit down and eat together. And yeah, but here's the power of noticing what's going on for you internally is that I was feeling so stressed out. I was feeling failed. My biggest button in life is failure
Over white chicken chili.
because I didn't really feel like I fully understood what the instructions were, and that's
Yes.
hard for me. So that's
Yes.
just who I am.
But notice it wasn't really about the white chicken
No,
chili. It
that's
was
the
about
point.
you feeling failed trying to make the white chicken chili. And that's the key, is that it's never about the topic. There's so much more going on underneath. I didn't know that you felt failed making the white chicken
Yeah, because
chili.
we're sitting there at the table, and remember I kept asking you guys, "What do you think? Is this good?" I had
I did
our
notice that.
daughter taste it 3
Yeah.
times. I go, "Does this taste like what mom would typically do?"
I actually personally thought it was better than mine.
I just did what you told me to do, so whatever I accidentally did to make it a
It was
little bit better.
good. It was
But
so
all I'm
good.
saying is that as I'm sitting at the table and
Uh-huh.
I'm begging you guys for the affirmation, what I realized is that that's because I'm feeling like I failed
Mhm.
to make this. And again, you might be rolling your eyes going, "What?" That's my thing.
Yeah.
And that's the point. If we can lean in just to better understand, what's going on, the tip off for me was not the defensiveness, it was the seeking the affirmation
Affirmation.
that I
Yeah.
didn't fail was what tipped me off, that button for me was triggered. So it had nothing to do with you.
Yeah.
It's
So
just that's the awareness that we need.
yeah, it really is exploring. Am I feeling failed? Am I feeling not good enough? Am I feeling invalidated? Am I feeling
Invisible,
worthless?
worthless.
It's all these emotions that are tied to pain, and typically pain from previous seasons. And so this is one thing that I have to put out there. Often what I hear is, "Oh, my husband said something and he made me so angry." No, he triggered your tender button, that sensitized emotion, and therefore he didn't make you angry, he triggered you. And so it's going, okay, I'm responsible for my emotions and what I do when I get triggered, as well as how I react to it.
Because what was so funny is that our son got home, he was at work, our daughter, everybody got home a little bit early, and I was having them test the food, saying, "Well, keep in mind now, mom wasn't real super clear on the instructions."
So it was actually my fault.
Right. But that's funny. I mean, I'm just
Yeah.
thinking about this, that how natural it is. I'm feeling failed. Now I'm trying to pass the responsibility. Had she just given me better instructions, why didn't you just text me any of
Yeah.
this? Again, all that could have been helpful, but the bottom line is that I had the opportunity to eventually lean in and say, "You know what? I can deal with how I'm feeling right now. That's my job. That's not
Right.
your responsibility to make
Right.
me feel affirmed so I don't feel
Yes.
failed." And all Erin and I are saying is, again, conflict happens because of this thing that we call the reactive cycle. Your buttons get pushed, you then react. So remember that first step is that awareness. So take the reactive cycle assessments, understand what that is, what is that, how does that look for you guys uniquely in your relationship. And then step 2 is that heart check. And ultimately what you're checking is the state of your hearts. Is it opened or closed? Because the job there is to get your heart back open.
Yeah, and to really assess what got triggered, naming the emotion, caring for the emotion, and really getting your heart back open so you're humble. So you can then go to step 3, and that's returning to your spouse to engage in a heart talk.
Yeah.
Because then you're going back and going, "Hey, are you available to talk about what happened back there? It didn't
Yeah.
go well. I'm aware of what went on for me, and are you available to listen, as well as I'd love to hear what was going on for you?"
Yeah. So I could have come to you later on last night and actually said, "Let me tell you about what was going on." Not because there was a conflict between us, but because there was a lot going on for me.
And I actually love hearing that is what was going on inside of you, because I had no idea.
Yeah.
But I love hearing that. And I hate that you were struggling so much with the white chicken chili, but really feeling failed.
Yeah.
Man, thanks for telling me.
Yeah, because again, I mean, it's my job ultimately to manage that, which I felt I did pretty decent once I clued in that I was actually triggered. So I mean, a heart talk happens by, I could just share, what I realized is I was, try and get all this affirmation because I was really feeling failed
Mm-hmm.
because I don't cook very well. You do that so amazingly. I'm trying to learn. So I felt insecure around that, which was leading me to feeling I screwed this up. At one point I was thinking, well, maybe I just need to dump this down the drain. There's no way this is right.
It was so
I
good.
know. This is funny. So I'm just saying,
Mm-hmm.
I'm just being
Yeah.
honest and
Yeah.
vulnerable. But when there's bigger issues,
Mm-hmm.
so when there's really a big issue between us, heart talk can work so well
Yeah.
if your hearts are open. So all we're offering is that the model to do a heart talk, to actually lean in and care about how our spouse
Mm-hmm.
is feeling, your heart does need to be open. So
Mm-hmm.
that you've got to check that.
Mm-hmm.
And once your heart's open, right, a heart talk is pretty simple.
Yeah, really, there's a speaker and there's a listener. Speaker is sharing what they discovered about themselves using I statements. When they're in their time of just doing a heart check, then coming and sharing that, saying, this is what was going on for me. I felt failed. I felt not good enough. And sharing that in a way that your spouse can hear.
Yeah.
The listener, on the other hand, we say it's LUVE, listening with your presence. You're trying to understand what your spouse is sharing, specifically the emotional message. So help me understand, when did you start feeling failed yesterday? Did you feel failed the entire time you were making it? I'm just trying to gain awareness and
I'm so
understanding.
insecure because I need directions. I need the recipe is what
Yes.
helps me.
Yeah. Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah.
So then
And you don't really do that. You're so good at going, a little bit of
I
this, a
just
little bit of
dump.
that. Yeah.
But so
Doesn't help
it's
me.
listening, understanding, validating. Yeah, that makes sense. Man, I'm so glad you're telling me this. And then empathy. Empathy is stepping into their shoes going, man, if that were me and I was trying to make something and you didn't give me the recipe, so I didn't have full directions, man, that must have been really hard. That would be difficult. And so it really is just going LUVE. And when
That was
I'm,
really good, by the way.
oh, good.
Just hearing you say that made me just go, "Aw, she gets it." That's
Yeah.
funny. And
And
again, this is a very minor issue. It wasn't even really an issue between us. We know that there's bigger, more serious stuff, but I'm telling you, the model works.
yes, it does.
So once we've kind of had this opportunity to reconnect relationally, kind of repair,
Hmm.
this is once I understand how you felt, then I
Hmm.
can always think, what do I need to own?
Hmm.
And that's when I can ask you to forgive me for
Hmm.
if something that I did.
If I had walked in and you snapped at me
Right.
because, man, I've been working on this all day.
Yeah, thanks a
Because
lot for not
those
texting me the
and
instructions.
thanks a lot for not complimenting my chili or whatever, because those are the things we say when our heart is closed.
Right.
And then we can go back and own that, hey, man, I'm sorry I snapped at you.
Right. So
And
repairing the conflict is really what heart talk allows to take place because we've cared. And if we've had to own whatever and sought
Yeah.
forgiveness, that's great.
But then step 4 is going into work talk, which is then, is there something that needs to be solved? And in essence, coming up with a win-win.
Yeah.
And we both matter in the relationship. So how do we find something that feels good to you and good to me? Even back to the white chicken chili, we could come up with a win-win that, hey, if I'm going to cook dinner and it's something you've made before, could you
Or
provide
something
me,
you're requesting.
yeah, that I'm requesting, could you provide a written out instruction or tell me where to find it?
Yeah.
And that would be a great win-win because you're winning and I'm winning.
Yeah.
You're making dinner and you have clear directions.
Because I even went online and what I was seeing was like, this is so not healthy. These are not even the ingredients that you've laid out.
They're
for
way
me.
more complicated
Yeah.
online than
Yeah.
what I do.
So again, minor issue, but that would be, a great thing. That would feel like a win. If you want me to cook something specific, give me the instructions.
Right.
I'm good to go.
Sounds great.
There's bigger issues you guys are dealing with.
That's right.
And sometimes this process takes a while
Mhm.
to really understand what is the win for you, what is the win for me, to then bring those together with a solution that feels good to both of us. When you move into the work talk part of this, trying to solve or figure out some way to deal with this, that it both people matter.
Mhm.
And it's got to be a solution that both people feel good about. And if that's your goal, we always get there. Like sometimes it takes a little bit longer, but we'll ultimately get there. We'll figure out something that feels good to both of us. Beyond that, maybe a fifth step would be
Mhm.
if you're not able to make this process, this formula work, then it's time to go see a licensed Christian counselor. Now it's time to get help to say, hey, we've been trying to do this model. We've been using this process that the Smalleys talked about. We're
Mhm.
just stuck. It's okay. We've
Mhm.
we've had issues where we've gotten stuck over. It's
Yeah.
okay. Reach out to Focus on the Family. We'll put the link in the description below. We've got a great counselor, a Christian counselor network that we can help you look for and find a good Christian counselor in your area.